Pop, pop, Bush did it. Pop, 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 Bush did it. Pop, 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 Bush did it. Pop, 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 pop. Bill Clinton is a rapist, but whoa, 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 whoa. Let's drag Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell to the street and execute them publicly on the painting of BLM that's in the middle of the street on the Methadone Mile. Pop, pop. Okay, that was not wholesome. Wholesome. I got a wholesome one. I have these lucid dreams where I have a pet cat. His name is Fred. What's that song called? I have these lucid dreams where I get over you. Oh, we're going to get pulled from YouTube because we don't have the rights to use that song. Oh, no. Welcome back, folks. It's been about a month since we had an episode. I'm sorry. We recorded one a few weeks ago at my apartment. It was a fun little Christmas episode. And then I have all the footage and I was just kind of too lazy to edit it together. So that one's on me. I could be one of those people who says like, oh, with the holidays, I didn't have time. I had time. I mean, there were certain days where I basically just napped the entire duration of the day. I definitely had time to do it, and I didn't. Oh, well. So, we kind of skipped Christmas here in the Somebody's Listening podcast. This is episode 22. I'm just happy that I was able to do 22 of anything. I mean, these days, you'd be lucky. Lucky to. You know what has two twos in it? You know what has the number 22 in it? Is 2020, the year that's almost over. December, whatever day it is, December 30th, folks. We're having a good day. We're having a great time. I am a little bit concerned that some people seem to think that as soon as the clock strikes midnight on New Year's, all of the problems of 2020 will be gone. They don't seem they've put a lot of emphasis on the arbitrage of time and don't seem to understand that it's probably still going to be a while before things get better. I don't know. I'm hearing people left and right got the vaccine. My mom got the vaccine. Some friends of mine, medical school, they got the vaccine, and they didn't grow another head yet. So we got some hope. It's crazy the information that people get communicated. Like I went skiing a few weeks ago, and I was in New Hampshire. This lady in the bar was like, did you hear that this is just an RNA vaccine? It tricks your body into thinking you got the COVID. It doesn't even have any of the COVID germs. I was like, wow, that's a lot of science for, the common folk in the Waterville Valley to be having. But it is what it is, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know, folks. We're trying to establish a better society. And by trying, I mean not trying at all. I don't think anything's really going to get better. No one's made an effort to make anything better. They made a vaccine, and I feel like we're just supposed to kind of walk away with that as our big, we did it. We saved America. Joe Biden made it very clear that he will not be using executive action to help anyone. He condescended civil rights leaders to their face. So that's about the status quo that everyone's so crazy about. It's the new normal, folks. On Christmas, my uncle was like, we're going to be wearing masks forever. There's just always going to be another thing. This is the new normal. I was like, okay, well, that seems a little dramatic. You know what I realized? One thing I definitely could leave in the pre-quarantine era, though, is Uber Pool.
Uber Pool?
Yeah, I don't miss Uber Pool at all. I don't believe it exists anymore. I think they shut it down because
I forgot
all these people with COVID germs. Yeah, do you remember Uber? Do you take an Uber Pools? There was a few times where I got someone's phone number in an Uber Pool.
Really?
A lady. Yeah, I don't know. Back then, I don't know where that confidence came from, but I would strike up a conversation with a lady in an Uber Pool, and I think one time I actually went on a date with a girl. She was kind of weird. It's the relic of a lost time. It's the relic of a lost time. Uber Pool. Pour some out. I mean, honestly, I don't really care that much. I like the spread out lines in stores. I don't mind when it's 27 degrees like it is today. Walking around with a mask on, it's like, okay, well, I have this dumb piece of cloth preventing my face from getting frostbite. That's not that bad. What are the bright sides, guys? Let's look at the bright side. Lizzo, she drank one smoothie. And by the way, like I hope that I grow a fan base here, and I hope that my fan base is men, because women seem like the most toxic and hostile fan base you can have. Lizzo built up this whole following as like a female empowerment character, and then she drinks one smoothie on a juice cleanse, and now all of her fans are telling her to kill herself. Like they really overreacted. She just said she had like a IBS or something. She said, I'm gonna go on a juice cleanse to help with my GI health. And then all these people, Lizzo's now she has betrayed the fat community. Fat should not be a community. I think that's probably where we went wrong. That's a fickle thing. I remember Adele lost a bunch of weight, and everyone used it as their experience to be like, PSA, this is just a reminder that not all weight loss is healthy. Like,
What?
it's like, great, it's people, they're projecting. They're like, oh, someone lost weight, and I take that personally because I didn't lose weight, so now I'm going to go on this social justice warrior brigade, and, it's the same thing. People used Elliot Page's transition as an excuse to just be condescending cunts about everything. It doesn't stop. And if you do it under the guise of trying to, contribute to an environment of health and respect, then you can kind of obfuscate the fact that it's all about you and your own ego. But like, you'd have to be a real fucking idiot not to realize that when someone's like, let's just take a minute here and address that Adele losing weight and Lizzo drinking a smoothie is not healthy. You're not supposed to eat vegetables because, there's no science to support the fact that vegetables will make you healthier. Yeah. I don't know. Body positivity. Body positivity, folks. Let's go to Disney World. That's where you find a lot of it. The big turkey legs. Let's go to the Texas State Fair. Boy, I've been to the Texas State Fair once when I was in college, and boy, have I never seen a sadder sack of people. Everyone's very shit-faced, parents shit-faced, kids shit-faced. A lot of fat going on there. A lot of people there are from Oklahoma, so, because it's always the big Texas-Oklahoma game, so that even waters it down. You thought Texas was bad. Then you go to this friggin' football game, and it's basically all like old men in the audience. It's like, what do you got? Are you guys pedophiles? What is that? What is up with adult men watching college sports? This is, for some reason, it's considered socially acceptable. This is borderline pedophilia. I don't like it at all. I think it's strange. I want it to stop, and it's gotten out of control. So I don't know if I can stop it, but even, if you're over the age of 30 and you have a March Madness bracket, I'm calling Chris Henson. It's disgusting. Disgusting, honestly. And it should not stop, it has to stop. I do kind of miss that 2-week period where I didn't have to hear anything about sports. But then they all just came back with like cardboard cutouts, You could like pay $5 and you could, have your face there. I kind of want to pay $5 to have someone else's face there. Like, Jared Fogle. Like, how funny would it be if someone paid a lot of money to just have a bunch of Jared Fogle cutouts in the latest football game? That would be funny. Maybe you could even put text on it.
You pay a little extra, get him behind home plate.
Well, I think what you'd actually have to do is get Jared Fogle at, have him in the stands of the Little League World Series, which is, that's one that's just like, you're cut dry. I mean, it's one thing to be watching college football where you're sus already. But they televise the Little League World Series. My sister used to watch it. She gets a bye because, women look at children and then their brains get all like, blah. But yeah, if you're a man watching the Little League World Series, I mean, you're a man on the outside, a Fogle on the inside. Fogly Mowgli. Subway is a lot like the Catholic Church because they protected wealthy pedophiles. They'll lie to you about what will happen if you give them $5, and they consider a flat unleavened piece of bread to be like a meal. So that's just a dumb joke I wrote the other day. It's not great. I have not been doing well on the TikTok, folks. I've been trying to build a following on TikTok, and I went out of the gate. I went from like 0 to 600 followers. I had the one great one that got a couple thousand likes, tens of thousands of views, and then it got yanked, which is no good. But yeah, I've had a few kind of just get into the hundreds, and I'm having trouble getting some traction on the talk. So I'm just going to keep trying to make things, keep trying to be funny. You just got to keep on, because if you're not keeping on, you're dead. My chest hurts because I was doing cocaine last night. That's not really a segue into anything. I just thought it would be fun. I did a little bit too much, and then the sun came up, and I ate SpaghettiOs and went to bed. And honestly, for someone who's very hungover, because I drank like 12 beers, I feel pretty good today. I mean, I did sleep most of the day. It was fun. I got my body armor. Rejuvenate me. I was drinking Perrier water earlier. You ever drink a Perrier water?
Perrier, yes. Once.
Perrier. Perrier, that's good.
Perrier.
Perrier. Yeah, it's great stuff. It's a superior seltzer. I don't know what's in it, but they went hard with this one. This is going to be a long episode. I'm sorry. We kind of fell off the wagon, folks. I'm still getting my momentum back.
Well, Kev, we're a little exhausted because it is second to last day of the year, and we did win the day by defeating 2020.
We defeated 2020. Yeah.
It was one hell of a boss battle.
Who had 2020 stupid butt idiot thing on their 2020 bingo card? Am I right? There was a bombing.
Ooh, there was Asian murder hornets.
Yeah, that was was that a meme? Like, did that actually happen? That didn't make any sense at all.
I think some gun to Texas somehow threw like an exotic pet on her butt.
They really hyped up the murder hornets as if it was going to be not nothing, and then it was like a nothing thing. Like, were they trying to distract us from COVID? Did they think that we would just somehow forget because there was large hornets?
Well, that didn't work. Then they had to drop the ball and be like, "Oh, aliens are real."
Yeah, you see, the thing is that video was from like years ago, and I'd seen it a million times already. And really all that happened was that the Pentagon confirmed it, but I think the U.S. Navy had already confirmed it. So that wasn't that big of a knowledge drop. Although I do agree that they definitely probably did it strategically, just to kind of be like, hey, you know what?
Now that everyone's distracted, we can finally get this off our chest.
Yeah, we can just kind of sideline that.
You're like, there you go, David Duchovny, you're satisfied.
David Duchovny, I don't think he's ever satisfied. He's a sex addict. He can't get enough.
Oh, so I guess Californication was a true life story.
I think that was the intention, yes. I think he had to go to rehab. A sex addict is not a glamorous life, because then you run out of people that you want to have sex with, and then you end up like Tiger Woods and some disgusting, lady.
I guess you could say being a sex addict blows.
Yeah, it blows. How come blow means suck in the context of cocaine and oral sex? Who came up with that shit?
I guess someone was high on coke and was giving someone a...
Maybe it was opposite day. They just, there was a day where they named the words, and then those words, those terms, they came up with those on opposite day. What is opposite day? When is opposite day, folks? These are the hard-hitting issues we ask on the Somebody's Listening podcast.
It's on December 32nd.
No. Well, no, it can't be on that, because it has to be on a real day, because there is such thing as opposite day, right?
I think it's probably April Fool's Day.
No, April Fool's Day is a day for tomfoolery. Not to be confused with Mischief Night. What are we looking at? Opposite day. Opposite day is observed on January 25th. While other sources say it is celebrated by some on January 7th, it's coming up.
So it is coming in January.
So I'm going to go with January 25th. That seems like the official one. These January 7th people seem kind of like rogues.
Let's see, we had aliens, opposite days, murder hornets.
Well, we're going to have to do something special for opposite day. Opposite day refers to a game usually played by children. One can declare that today is opposite day to indicate something which will be said or has been said should be understood to be the opposite of its original meaning. The game has been compared to a children's philosophy course. Well, let's not fucking go overboard there. Philosophy course? An extreme overanalysis of this concept would conclude that opposite day causes a self-referential paradox. Uh-oh.
We got time paradox, people.
Yeah, so I guess you have to say it's not opposite day whenever it's opposite day. We're allowed to say that January 25th is opposite day now because it's not opposite day, so we can just say what we mean.
No, it's not opposite day.
Yeah, on opposite day, you have to say it's not opposite day, but today you also have to say it's not opposite day because it's not opposite day, so you have to say what's true. Isn't this fun, guys?
Hold on,
I'm having a good time.
let me get a diagram out.
I should have taken more notes. Christmas is over. We did it. We survived. You know, my sister bought me a Nespresso machine for Christmas, way too expensive. I got her a board game that cost like $25. So that was a lot. Now I got this, you know, now I got to like use the Nespresso, I guess. I don't know. You ever use them in a Nespresso?
Espresso machine?
Danny DeVito, no, Nespresso. Danny DeVito was on the commercial years ago. He was like, "Is that coffee?" It didn't make any sense. Commercials suck. They're horrible. I'm so glad I don't have cable anymore. I don't have to watch them. I was somewhere where someone had cable, and the commercials were just like...
Well, here's a 200 IQ move. If you ever have a commercial, just hit the mute button. Tell that commercial to shut the fuck up. It works every time.
I can use it on YouTube ads.
Oh, I do it all the time.
It's kind of like when you're on like the phone tree and you just scream agent. Like, you ever do agent? I guess you could scream operator. For some reason, agent works with like Bank of America, which is the worst one. Because if you ever have to call Bank of America, it's like a half hour before they let you talk to a human. It's horrible. So you're just screaming agent. And then like there's an Asian person nearby who thinks that you're, you know, committing a hate crime, screaming Asian. So, you know, it's kind of a lose-lose. Because your financials are not in order, and now, you know, you've been casually racist from this person's perspective. Oh, well. You know, Asians had it hard enough. Remember when people were being, like, mean to Chinese people? Remember that part of 2020? It was like a short-lived phase. They kind of, like, I think they got sidelined by, like, the BLM movement or something, but... There was a brief period where, because of COVID, people were like harassing Asian people because they thought that they brought COVID,
Like,
even though many of them live
Japanese.
there. Yeah, I don't think if you're racist, you are even aware that Japan and China are different places. That doesn't seem like something a racist keeps up with. Like, because then you got Cambodia, you got Vietnam, you got Laos, you got Myanmar, you got your Singapore. Ugh. You know,
For reference, people, China is where the virus came from.
Malaysia.
Japan is where all the pornography comes from.
I don't think Japan is where the pornography comes from.
Oh, you never seen that, you know, the
I've seen the blurred out genitals, you know.
schoolgirls.
I don't understand what's the point of even making porn at all. Like, see, people try to be like, they'll show whatever they want, but they blur out the genitals. It's like, also, well, what's the point of just making porn at all with blurred out genitals? It seems like that is something that people would want to see. So it's strange to me that you would think that you needed to blur out those genitals. You know, they never blurred out genitals on the Howard Stern show, so why would you need to do it, Japanese porn? Riddle me that.
And then Korea's where all the tournaments come from, the StarCraft tournaments.
Yeah, I've never played StarCraft. I'm not a craftian. I was playing The Last of Us 2 last night because I got a Switch for Christmas. How great was that? My parents really came through, got me a Switch for Christmas. You know, I'm privileged. Some people's parents didn't even call them, but mine got me a Switch, so that was nice. You know, so I have The Last of Us 2 on PlayStation. I'm trying to just beat that so that I can move on to Switch stuff, or else I'll feel like a piece of shit. I got that game when it came out. I'm a little bit more than halfway through, and I am just chugging along real slow, folks. Not really that close to the end. Boy, is it a long game. My friend, for context, beat it like 2 days after it came out. So I bought it the same day as him. So I am, you know, I'm taking my sweet time.
Was this good bread?
No, I don't think he liked it. He has weird opinions about stuff. And then if you press him too much, he'll like be vaguely alt-right about it. He'll be like, oh, the new Spider-Man game is good. I heard it sucked. And I was like, who'd you hear it sucked from? My coworker. He said it was all about SJW stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, your coworker is also someone who uses the phrase SJW stuff when reviewing games. So seems like he's kind of a sus character to be getting vital information from. You know, he's just little. We went to Six Flags with Mike a few months ago, and he insisted on taking mushrooms. Him and his 12-year-old girlfriend. No, she's not 12, but she is younger than me, and you, and him. We'll leave it at that. She is an adult. I'm not sure exactly how old she is, but she's on the young side. And we so we go to the. I don't know. Like he can't be sober. He's one of those people who just like can't fucking be sober for like 45 minutes. He's got to at least be smoking a cigarette. We're at the amusement park. We got these rides. These rides are all like 200-300, some even over 400 feet tall, and we're having a grand old time. And he needs to. He's like, oh, I want to take mushrooms before I go on the next ride. So then he makes us go all the way out of the park to the car where he's left the mushrooms, and it's like a huge fucking diversion. And and then immediately as soon as they kick in, he just has to wait in line for 2 hours for a ride because that's what happens at a Six Flags. This was great. This Six Flags in Jersey, like they were not on the ball at all. I don't even. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, this Six Flags in New Jersey was like, they said that they would temperature scan you. Oh, well, here was the drama, is that they said everyone needs to have an ID. So Mike's girlfriend, for whatever reason, doesn't have an ID. She's an adult, but she does not have something that most adults have, which is a government-issued identification. Little weird. I know she's like George Carlin. George Carlin once got arrested for saying, I do not believe in government identification. So our plan was, if they asked, we would just say that she was someone's, 17-year-old cousin. And then they wouldn't be able to ask for her ID since technically they're only allowed to card adults. That was the plan. They ended up not. They didn't card anyone. They didn't ask for IDs. It was very lax. I thought it was going to be very serious with COVID. They said they're going to temperature scan. Really what they had is it has like a big thermal scanner that you walk through, and this guy's like sitting in front of a monitor, but he's clearly on his phone. And, I guess he's just supposed to watch in like people's body scans. It was not individual scans of the forehead.
Oh, so it was like one of those airport things.
Even worse, it was basically looked like that camera, but bigger. And it was just kind of like you just walked by it. Half the people doing it probably didn't even realize that they were getting a temperature scan when they walked by it, because it was not. It was like it was like a few feet away. There was just a guy monitoring. Like a lot of people probably thought it was like scanning for guns or something.
It's probably like, ooh, this was what's like being the Predator. I get to see everything thermal.
It probably did look like the Predator from his end. I didn't get to see what the monitor looked like. Ugh. I have these lucid dreams where I have sex with my cat. I don't know, guys. You like these song parodies? Are they doing anything for you? Please write into the show if you like my silly song parodies. I might be having cat sex. Don't even have cat sex. Can't really trust nobody. Except my cat, we have sex.
My brother loves song parodies.
The thing about song parodies is that there's never been a good one in history. They're all so bad, which is kind of then adds an extra layer of humor to them.
It's like the thing with dead baby jokes. I've never heard one good dead baby joke. Not even a chuckle.
Oh, can't think of any good ones. What's the difference between a dead baby and a shoelace?
What?
I'm concerned. No, wait. What's the difference between a baby and a shoelace?
What?
I freak out when my shoelace gets stuck in an escalator. That's an old one I heard. It's a classic. What? You remember that kid Stefan?
Yeah, Butcher.
Yeah. I remember one time, he was so wild in middle school, and I thought it was the funniest thing you possibly could have done.
Oh my god.
And we had, as an exercise, a daily warm-up exercise. There was a, it was like about personification or imagery or some, English bullshit. And it said like, it's like the five senses are see, taste, touch, sound. See, this is how fucking brain is fried. I can't even name the five senses. But it was like, name one. It's like, the problem was it would say like see, blank, hear, blank, smell, blank, taste, blank. And I just remember him filling it up. And he goes, see the Holocaust, hear, and Frank, taste, wooden dick. And, it was like, I just thought it was the funniest fucking, like, and then he would just write it, and then he would just hand it in. And, like, he didn't give a fuck. He probably knew. I didn't realize until I was older that teachers don't read half the fucking shit you hand in. But it was so funny. And then I remember I was, like, on vacation with, like, family friends, and I was like, the funniest kid in my grade, he's so wild. He makes jokes about the Holocaust. And then they were both like, what? Why would you make jokes about the Holocaust? That's not cool at all. And I was like, you guys don't get it. And now, and then they made me feel like an asshole. And, I was confused as to whether or not I was laughing at something that was, untoward or uncouth. And I realized, with the benefit of hindsight, we were both right. It was uncouth, and it was also hilarious. The kid was just, I couldn't be this funny if I tried. The kid would just yell, scrotum! And because he was the only black kid in school, the white teachers didn't want to get accused of being racist, so they kind of just pretended not to hear it. So they'd be like, okay, class, please turn to page 300 and scrotum! Like, he would just do it. One time the entire school was congregated to watch National Treasure in the auditorium for some reason. That was an interesting choice, whatever. And, like, the guy gave up to put the movie in the VCR or whatever, and he was like, all right, guys, we're going to be what? Scrotum! And then he just pretends not to hear it. It's fantastic. And, I think the only time he got in trouble, he got, like, detention once because a teacher accused him of cheating, and he said, you have any evidence? And she was like, I don't need any evidence. It's my word against yours. And then he said, fuck off, which is an 8th grader tell you to fuck off. You're
moving up in the world.
Yeah, you're,
Stefan and I had the...
You got to question your life choices.
Well, Stefan and I had the infamous science class involved in the, let's just say the super bad problem.
Oh, right. I don't know about... We won't say the assailant's name on here because we've already said way too many people's full names. But yeah, I know. And someone in this class drew the teacher, who was a Jewish man, performing fellatio on Adolf Hitler in the style of Simpsons characters. And I believe also there was some veiny dicks on the whiteboard involved. Am I correct?
Yes, and there may, Stefan may or may not have, been a conspirator in such events.
Well, here's the thing: is that like he got in trouble. This severely autistic kid got in trouble for doing that. And yeah, you shouldn't do that, and you can't, just because you have a disability, you can't give him a buy on everything. But you got it. It's a little weird that the people who coaxed him into doing it and took advantage of him because he was disabled didn't get in any trouble at all. It seems like a weird lesson to be taking away. I remember hearing this story and being bothered by that aspect of it, but.
No, it was awful. There's an entire locked drawer full of hundreds. I'm not kidding, hundreds of drawings.
Oh wow!
Yes,
hundreds.
It was that severe.
Well, my dad sent me a text. Chris Tomeno Comedy Cove, November 2020. His old friend. I'll have to check it out later. Chris Tomeno Comedy. Shout out to him, and shout out to, the late great Casey Durkin, Boston comedian, among other things. The very first episode, what would have been the very first episode of this podcast, was actually with her. We recorded it over Zoom or something, and then the audio got all fucked up, so I couldn't use it at all. It was just completely unusable. So yeah, she has unfortunately passed away, and much like anything that bad that's happened, many people I've noticed have been using it to kind of be cunts on social media. I don't think that's what she would have wanted, but she was a great gal, and we all are very sad to hear about that. So my condolences to her family. And it's just when someone dies like that, you gotta your natural inclination is to wonder how did they die. And I've seen people making posts about when someone dies and you don't know how, then maybe it wasn't your business. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it does. I get that, like, it's annoying to publicly comment on someone's, like, Facebook post about them and ask, like, how did they die? Because, like, I've seen people do that, and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of cunty. But, like, don't act like it's not a natural human inclination when someone young passes away that you don't, like, you're living in a different reality. Like, we got, what was it? There's a microcosm of, oh, yeah, this stupid Dr. Biden. Yeah, I thought of this a while ago, but now it's practically old news. Remember when everyone was mad about Jill Biden? Dr. Jill Biden? You remember that? You hear it?
Which one?
Dr.
Jill Biden?
Yeah, his wife. Someone wrote an article saying that she shouldn't go by doctor.
Was she an actual doctor?
Well, she has an EHD, which is not a PhD, but technically a doctorate. So she, sometimes people who have that level of education identify as doctor. Well, here's the thing. It's like a microcosm of whenever there's an issue, people who are on one side, they choose their side, and their side is, they don't choose their side. Their side was already chosen, and they get on the side of the people that align with them. And then they start saying and believing all sorts of things that are totally not true. Because on the one hand of the spectrum, you got these right-wing assholes who are acting like they've never in a million years ever heard of the idea of someone who has a doctorate putting doctor in front of their name if they're not an MD. They're acting that's never happened. They've never heard of it. No one does it. They're acting like that, and that's not true. I mean, people do that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you got people on the left who are like, everyone does that. It's not confusing. It's extremely common, and like that's not true. Like, and these people, the funny thing about the people who are saying that on the left is like they literally just found out that she wasn't a medical doctor like 5 minutes ago, and now they're like and then a lot of them are like she has a PhD. That's a doctor. She doesn't even have a PhD. They don't even know what they're talking. I've seen so many. My fellow PhDs, like, we have to stand in solidarity with this. Like, well, fucking clearly they're just handing out PhDs to anyone these days because you're a moron.
I did not perform prostate exam on Trump.
I will say, I've known people for years and then found out that they were technically a doctor, like, years after knowing them because they don't publicly identify as a doctor because it is pretty annoying and stupid to do that when you're not an MD. Like, that's the way it is. I mean, I'm sorry. That is the truth. And then on the other end, these people are acting like she made it up and that no one has ever done that. So it's an interesting micro little experiment of how people will just kind of pick a side and then immediately just convince themselves of everything that's just in line with the dogma, regardless of the truth or any information that they had floating around their head previously. Like, Elliot Page, a lot of people just use that as an excuse to be huge dicks and everything is kind of just, the thing is we're not meeting people face to face that much anymore. So when I say people are using it as an excuse to be huge dicks, it's like it's really only online, which I know isn't real, but like that's primary the way we communicate now, which is unfortunate. I'd rather not be. I'd rather detox and detach, and I'd rather just sing my stupid song. I might be having cat sex with a cat sex. Can't really trust nobody except for my cat. We have sex. I might be having cat sex. Does your brother like that song?
I've never heard of it.
Well, I made it up. So, well, I mean, it's to the tune of a Post Malone song, but it's I might be running psycho. I can't trust nobody.
You get the cat high on catnip first?
I don't know. I don't actually have a cat. I have to clarify I don't have a cat, because then you know for a fact that I don't have sex with a cat that I don't have. You know what I watched last night when I was fucked up? Wonder Woman 84. And boy, did that movie go on for way too long. It had no business being as long as it was. One of the villains was a cat. The other villain was stupid. Really, honestly, just a dumb movie. I don't even think the villain at the end, he didn't even get in trouble for doing anything. And Wonder Woman uses a magic rock to wish that her lover was back. And then he kind of just like quantum leaps into this guy's body. And no one seems to be concerned about the guy's body who she's hijacking. She's not particularly concerned about it. And then, here's the real kicker. Here's what really upset me, is that they didn't have sex. Now, I'm not one of those like aggressively horny people that means like, oh, Wonder Woman needs to have sex. But
You want to climax this romance plot.
no, it's just a little frustrating that like it's her lover from World War One, who I don't believe she had sex with then, and then she wishes him back into existence. And then they just like kiss a little bit and then decide to go fight crime. Like, and then she like lets him go back to, she gives that poor guy his body back who she hijacked. And then seems to be implied at the end that the guy had like a wife and kids. So Chris Pine's character just stole this guy's body. He body snatched it. It's a little frustrating. I think more of these characters should be canonically having sex. Like, it's not too much. We don't need to show it. You can at least imply that it happened. Sharks.
Was it worth a watch?
No, it was not. It was really bad, actually. There was a couple of scenes that were like kind of cool, but the movie was 2.5 hours long, and a lot of it was just like dumb, stupid. There's an opening scene where she's like 12 years old, and it doesn't seem to make any sense in the context of the rest of the movie at all. Like, it has nothing to do with anything. I'm pretty sure it was literally footage from the original Wonder Woman movie that was cut, and they hobbled it together as an opening scene just so that they could give Robin Wright like a high billing in the cast, because then that Robin Wright was in that, and obviously she's not in the rest of the movie. Also, in the opening scene, they're in a Coliseum, and people are doing like climbing walls and doing acrobatics. And it's a little confusing because, like, they're all supposed to be a race of, like, super-powered people. So, like, why does people just, like, climbing ladders and stuff? Like, it's like Ninja Warrior. Yeah, that's impressive to a human. But it doesn't make sense why they would all be, like, lining up in droves to watch this, because they all should be able to do that. It should be pretty standard. So, it's a little confusing. That's all I'm going to say. Not worth the watch. Not worth the watch. I also watched The Last Jedi, but I fast-forwarded most of the boring parts.
I saw them in theaters.
Yeah, I saw that in theaters when it came out. I've watched it a few times. It's not the best Star Wars movie.
People hate on it, but I'm gonna hate for this. I liked it more than The Force Awakens.
You liked it more than The Force Awakens. That's a controversial opinion.
At least Last Jedi tried to have its own original plot, even if it did fail. Force Awakens, I'm like, I saw this before.
My gripes with The Last Jedi is that it's like they have this idea that they wanted to make 3 movies, and this is Disney, which is the same company that does Marvel, and with Marvel they have it's like a 20-something movie arc, and they have like a grand architect figuring out how this whole thing's going to work. So with Star Wars they're just going to do a 3-movie arc, that should be more simple. They should be able to figure out we're going to do like a beginning, middle, and end. And instead they hired different directors to spitefully make movies like against each other, whereas Rian Johnson was like, ha 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 ha, I'm gonna subvert everything. And then J.J. Abrams was like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna subvert back to my original plot, but worse. And it was just stupid. I mean, the movie is cool.
It has some good moments.
It has some good, There's a part where the whole thing with the Rose and Finn, that was stupid. It almost felt like, let's take the only 2 minority characters and sideline them into a really, like, shallow, vapid political subplot. War profiteering. Ooh.
It's bad.
And they're on a casino, and then there's this really stupid looking like Crash Bandicoot like chase scene on these big animals that they have. And then Benicio del Toro betrays them, I guess. Oh, there's also a scene in The Force Awakens in The Last Jedi where Finn is squaring off with Brienne of Tarth, and they literally square off to fight each other, and she goes, "You were a glitch in the system," and he says, "Bring it on, Chrome Dome," and it literally sounds like Mortal Kombat characters, like the square off. It's like almost like a parody of campy action movie, which is like what Mortal Kombat is, like the vibe that they're going for, but it sounds like they're going for Mortal Kombat, which is itself a parody of like how stupid the dialogue in action movies is. Classic. "You were a glitch in the system," she says, like as she's shaking her sword, and then he's, "Let's go, Chrome Dome," and then you get to see part of her face, and then she dies because she was recognizable. She had star power from Game of Thrones. Boy, that was another thing that really couldn't stick the landing, huh?
Oh, they ran out of the books in like season 7?
I think season 6 was like partially improvised, I think. And then season 7 and 8 were completely completely off the books.
Well, to be fair, their source material keeps dragging on. It's like, oh, we want 8 seasons, but the author wants to turn this in 12 1,000-page books.
Well, the George R. R. Martin hasn't even come out with I think the 6th book yet. He's way behind.
I remember the 5th one came out the same year, season 1, and then it took so long they were able to finish the series before he got book 6 out.
Yeah, I don't think book 6 is out yet. Maybe it is. I'm not keeping track of him. He'll probably die. He's like a fat, unhealthy guy. Very goofy.
Probably spends half his time sleeping at the word processor.
Well, I think he he's now that he's kind of famous, he cares way more about just going to Comic-Con and doing speaking fees and stuff like that, as opposed to just finishing the story. And he makes a lot of money doing that. I mean, he probably is just super freaking rich from the Game of Thrones show. It's just all right, I cashed my check. He's yeah, I don't give a fuck about any of these characters. Sorry guys, not finishing.
Let's go meet the fans. Let's take a few pictures.
Remember when those guys were gonna make a slavery show? They're gonna make a show of an alternate present where
the Confederate show?
Yeah, and then people were so outraged. I mean, if it weren't for the fact that they ruined Game of Thrones and that they come off as kind of huge douchebags, I would have given them, I would have defended them on that. But I have to side with the people who were fake outraged. So people were "This is cliche. We've seen it before," and I'm have we? Can you please name one property where that was the premise? It's not that cliche. I don't know. People just make stuff up. It's like Christopher Nolan fans. The entire fan base of Christopher Nolan is based around making up a fictional person who's too stupid to understand Christopher Nolan's movies and then acting like you're smarter than that person. They're not that complicated. Most people understand them. But, maybe you barely understood it because you're dumb. And then that's why you think that it's hard to understand. Because you just barely understood it. And you thought that this was such a feat. I don't know. I haven't seen Tenet yet. Looks kind of stupid. I don't know. The whole premise of the movie is a special effect that you can do inside your video camera.
So what's the big gimmick behind it?
It's that they can make time run backwards for heists and stuff. I don't know. The idea, the central crux of it, the sci-fi aspect, is that the people have the ability to make time run backwards.
I liked Interstellar, though.
I liked Interstellar.
I thought the what's his face?
I liked Interstellar. I liked Inception. I mean, I just think that they're all very pretentious movies, and they kind of get blown up. The ending of Interstellar was pretty ham-fisted and stupid. Inception had some pretty silly parts. Inception just had inconsistent rules, so it was okay, I guess this brilliant writer. And then if you point out the inconsistency of the rules, a lot of those people will say, "Oh no, it's all in there. It's all covered. You just you're stupid."
You missed the 1-2 second throwaway line, scene 34.
Well, there's the place that you're not able to get out of, and then he just shoots himself in the face and gets out of it. So it's like they hyped it up as a place that you weren't able to get out of, and then it seemed like it was actually pretty easy.
So he won the movie by killing himself.
I guess. Well, then his wife like killed herself IRL. Maud, Mal, whatever her name was. I don't know. I only
The
watched that
villain
movie
in The
once.
Dark Knight Rises. Spoiler alert.
It is the villain in The Dark Knight Rises, yes. She's got a mole on her face. That's her distinguishing trait. Haven't seen her in anything else.
I keep getting her mixed up with the chick from, Glorious Bastards.
That I never actually saw, believe it or not.
It's good. A lot more like foreign dialogue than you would expect for like a Hollywood movie, but
Well, Quentin Tarantino. Well, there's huge swaths of Kill Bill were in Japanese subtitled.
see, Quentin Tarantino's this big director, but I really only like 3 movies he's done.
What are the ones you like?
Pulp Fiction, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Inglourious Bastards.
You like Reservoir Dogs?
It was okay, nothing to write home about. It was a fun movie, but
Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite movies. I like Reservoir Dogs. I like From Dusk Till Dawn he wrote, he did not direct.
he did star in it too.
Yes.
That was Robert Rodriguez.
Yes. Robert Rodriguez also made Spy Kids and like a bunch of kids movies. And there's a new one that just came out on Netflix that I probably won't watch, but some people said
was
it's
it
fun.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
It's like they come back, but they couldn't get Taylor Lautner, which is weird because I didn't even think Taylor Lautner was like sought after. Like I would have thought that would be pretty easy to get for a cameo.
I didn't find out till years later that Taylor Lautner was the kid from Spy Kids.
No, he's not the kid from Spy Kids. He's Shark Boy. He was Shark Boy, and then he was Twilight person. I don't know.
I haven't seen the Twilight movies, though people hate them. Like they're,
I haven't seen. I mean, I imagine that they're not that good.
I mean, they're books based off like what young adult novels.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, the books are supposed to be like the lowest possible reading level. I don't know. I mean, why would I read Twilight? There was a kid in college. Excuse me. Low energy episode, guys. 2021, we're gonna have steam. But there was a kid in college who would be like, "Yeah, when I was in high school, I went to go see Twilight with girls. I got laid every time. I don't see what the problem is. I went to see Twilight with girls. It's not gay. I saw Twilight and I got laid. Hello." And he was just very defensive about this. It was to the point of like, okay, you're projecting quite a bit. Oh, my hat fell off. Oh, I'm rocking a mane. I gotta shave all this off. It's annoying.
Tell me about
I don't like it.
Hold on. Last time I shaved was Thanksgiving, and it's already grown back. It's awful.
I think I might have gone clean shaven around Thanksgiving. I don't remember.
Well, I think either Thanksgiving Eve or Thanksgiving Day was the last time I actually shaved.
Thanksgiving Eve, as we've highlighted, is one of my favorite days of the whole year. Might be running psycho.
Works all over. You get to eat like a pig the next day. What's not to love about Thanksgiving Eve?
Candles burning low. Lots of mistletoe. Yeah, no, it's for some reason every Thanksgiving it's always like I'm all ready to eat, and then I am always too stuffed too fast, and it's frustrating. It's like, grr, I wanted to put more of that food in my gullet. Grr.
Better go smoke a doobie so I have more appetite.
Well, sometimes when I get high, I like then don't. I don't want to eat as much. I'll eat on the come down of being high, so I got to time it right. I went for a run Thanksgiving morning, but still just not able. I mean, my sister makes this giant charcuterie board. Well, that didn't help. You eat all the charcuterie, and then you.
Charcuterie.
Yeah, she was charcuting and scatting. She's gotten pretty good at that charcut. Someone got her charcuterie for dummies for Christmas, which is pretty funny. Yeah, so she was charcuting and scatting, and then you fill up on this charcut, and then you can't eat the damn meal. This is not the best episode of the show. I gotta be honest with you guys. I didn't really bring it. I had.
Remember, folks, it's okay. We're exhausted because it took us a whole year, and we finally saved the year.
I had a few quips about Lizzo that I think were funny, and Jared Fogle. Some goofy song parodies.
You mean Jared Fondler?
Jared Fondler. Okay, we can, if you will. Someone named Colleen Fitzgerald liked my video.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thanks, Colleen. Shout out to Colleen. And okay, well, we gotta revitalize this. You know who wants to be on the show is Tyler Lind.
Thielen.
Yeah, he messaged me. He said he wanted to be. We should have had him on this episode. Maybe we would have had more momentum.
He was on my last series, Vision Quest. Sorry, Tyler. The episode got lost. I really liked that episode, too. We had the old TV teacher come and surprise Thielen. He was so happy.
Oh, well, I remember you had some kind of teacher that you posted on the Facebook group.
So, long story short, we were supposed to have him come and surprise Tyler. But he actually, because of scheduling, he came early, the teacher. So we wound up doing 2 episodes in one day. So we technically did the part with him first, but we put it as episode 3. Then we had Tyler's episode as episode 2, even though we filmed that after.
Oh.
We got 2 for 1.
Okay. Spider-Man. Pictures of Spider-Man. Thwip. They just got everyone in the new Spider-Man movie, don't they? They should bring Stan Lee back from the dead just to have him in the new Spider-Man movie. They should fucking...
Excelsior.
They should have just Jared Fogle in the new Spider-Man movie. Just in the background.
As the Hobgoblin.
He could be the opening villain that they stop. He could be like in in an elementary school being like, now let me tell you something. A $5 footlong isn't always 12 inches. But you know it is 12 inches, and then... Sorry, Jared Fogle. You know.
Guys, look how it's the Amazing Diddler.
No, he wouldn't be amazing. Because that's like a hero name.
It would be like a good pun.
A good pun?
Be like, oh, it's the Croc Shocker.
How about just his villain name? It could just be Footlong. You know. Oh, Jared.
Sorry, Jared. Looks like a $4.99.
Why did they? It's crazy how these situations emerge because Subway easily could have had a mascot and paid this guy to lose weight with like a personal trainer. They didn't have to choose a pedophile. So how does this always end up happening? Why does it always end up being like a pedophile? Like, can it? It seems so. The pedophile got very lucky, and instead of, he's a fat pedophile, and then he got the deal of a lifetime, paid $1 million to. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. I think Jared Fogle put it there. He said, "You're too old for me, but check out this frog. I'll put it in your throat."
Exception.
Excuse me. I'm having a coughing fit live on the air. Fogs.
Yeah, we're at the 50-minute mark.
5-0. Okay, well, I guess we should just talk about New Year's resolutions. I'm dying over here.
Well, speaking of coughing, today's the last day I took a vape hit. I promised myself I'll quit for New Year's.
Cool.
I'll probably have a horrible nicotine withdrawal the first week, so...
Today actually marks 3 months where I have not smoked anything. But that has not improved my lung situation. I got some bad infection or something. I don't fucking know. I'm dying. Just give me COVID. Get it over with.
Have this book and breathe and you can read.
I think it's more that, like, I got a bad infection and I was, like, afraid to go to the doctor because I didn't know what if my health insurance would actually be accepted. And now I should probably just schedule an appointment. But... So your New Year's resolution is to quit quit nicotine.
Yep.
Well, I find that if you go for a nice run, that will help you flush it out a little bit more effectively. Because then I got a
shitload of water right there too. It takes like a week to flush nicotine out.
Is that alkaline water supposed to help with the nicotine?
Well, alkaline's supposed to protect you against like viruses.
Oh, okay.
Antioxidants, the shit that flushes nicotine out.
How much that bottle cost?
That was like $1.50, $2 at Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
It's a shitload of water too.
Because I know they're trying to sell you these stupid fucking Kangen filters for like $2,000. If it's only $2 for a bottle that size, then it's like, why the fuck do I need a Kangen filter?
Well, if you want purified water, just drink smart water because they distill it, so there's no need to filter it.
I drink water off my tap. I got a death wish.
He's got the fluoride. He's part of the Nazi experiment.
That frog that Jared Fogle put in my throat is gay now because I have the fluoride. That's a multi-layered joke. You have to remember what I said earlier, and then you got to be aware with the frog's gay. Well, my New Year's resolution, I think I want to keep up the content and be more consistent. And
I say we made a great start this year, so there's no reason why
we did a good job. And I'll be sentimental for a second. I'll say, Dave, thank you for stepping in and being my producer and getting this off the ground. I don't know if it would still be going if you didn't come in. And sometimes I run out of momentum, and you fan the fire. So
I have a bad habit drinking an energy drink before the show, and then I just crash right before the show starts. So I'm like, ooh.
Well, you got your disguise thing going on. That's a fun gimmick. The viewers, the listeners, they've said they appreciate it. Really, just Joe T.
I guess my gimmick name should be Dangerous Dave.
You could be Dangerous Dave. Dave.
Dangerous Dave and copyright infringement.
Inviso Bill and Dangerous Dave. Danger Dog.
I say to this one guy at work for Malden, Dave. Hey, Dave, how's it going? I got this new killer bud. I got a metal detector, too. He's a nice guy, but he's one of those people that once he starts talking, it's like, 6 hours later.
Oh, yeah.
Nice guy, though.
It's like you call some people. I call some relatives for Christmas, and it's like, all right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you spend time with the girlfriend. But listen, so this guy cuts me off in traffic. Give me a fucking break. What's going on? And then like an hour later, he's like, I don't like a woman with the fake lips. I don't like fake. I like a nice foot and an open-toed shoe. And I'm like, how did we get here? You see the girls. They got painted toenails. I need a nice foot. And it's like, okay, thank you. Merry Christmas. And a happy new fucking year. We're out, folks.
Be well.